Hello. We are presenting evidence from multiple studies of a personalized EdTech solution, specifically 1 Billion's one course software for mathematics. It's an early maths curriculum. It is self-paced and it has an avatar, Anna, who talks and demonstrates and does the teaching in the software. The theory of change for this intervention is simple. The child using the tablet is at the center of the intervention. The child drives their own learning through personalized learning pathways. The teaching is done through the software, and adults play a facilitative role. Moving on.
This study was conducted to assess the impact of tablet use on learning retention in literacy and numeracy. 600 children from 2 public schools in Malawi who were participating in a 2-year RCT were baselined in October 2019. After 5 months, in March 2020, schools closed due to COVID-19 pandemic. After 7 months break, 84% of the learners came back when schools reopened. At this time, a midline assessment was done using EGRA and EGMA to assess learning retention. Moving on. The findings indicated that the intervention group learners retained learning in both literacy and numeracy more compared to the control group. The overall effect size in literacy was 0.24 and 0.35 in math. Similarly, learners showed retention of early math and literacy skills with effect sizes of 0.35 and 0.37 respectively. The results suggest that use of tablets has potential to increase learning retention among children when compared to standard teaching. Moving on.
We also did another study in Malawi in the Dzaleka refugee camp. The purpose of this study was specifically to assess whether children whose first language is not English could benefit from the software delivered in English. The community's strong preference was for the software to be in English versus Swahili. The children were enrolled in preschool 3 through grade 3 at a community-sponsored school, and about 300 children participated in the 5-month RCT. We baselined and endlined again in EGRA and EGMA. So we found that indeed, the children whose primary language was not English did benefit from the maths curriculum on the tablet delivered in English. Specifically here, we show both intent to treat and treatment on the treated results. The treatment group versus the control group overall, the blue bar on the left, showed an effect size of 0.36 in mathematics. And the children who attended at least 50% of the time showed an effect size of 0.50 in maths. The primary math measure was pattern completion, a subtest of EGMA, which is a standard followed in Malawi. Moving on.
So this study expands on the work that Tony and Karen have already described in different contexts in Malawi by looking to see if this particular educational technology could be deployed successfully in different countries around the world, irrespective of their development status. Accordingly, we employed the same research design in 5 different countries that varied from low income status to high income status. In each country, the app content was the same. Language of instruction varied across countries, and they were all school-based implementation studies. Next slide. Results showed similar effects of the intervention for 1 Billion's numeracy apps across countries, irrespective of their gross national income per capita, which was used as a measure of development status. You can see effect sizes between 0.24 and 0.39, similar to those reported by Tony and Karen earlier. For most of the countries that we worked in, the only one where the effect size was lower was South Africa. But in this country, the implementation was very poor, And we know that implementation impacts effect sizes from work in the UK, where 41% of the variance of learning gains was accounted for by implementation. This multi-country study suggests that this particular educational technology has potential to scale globally when implemented well. Next slide.
My research is based on the Global Learning X Prize competition, which, as many of you may know, was a 15-month field test with 5 different learning apps on handheld tablets. They tested 2,700 children from 172 remote villages in Tanzania to see if they could learn literacy and numeracy skills in out-of-school settings. RTI independently measured these results, and all apps provided significant improvements in reading and writing skills. We knew very little about what happened on the ground during the field test, so I conducted an expert elicitation interviewing 14 key individuals to the competition to explore the contextual factors that could have influenced the children's ability to learn in these remote communities. Next slide, please. 4 main themes were generated after conducting thematic analysis on the data. These were handling technology as a novel concept, children failing to learn in a vacuum, understanding and respecting the cultural context and the accessibility problems faced in a mobile world. Organisations wishing to implement digital technologies in similar settings to this one should take these identified themes into close consideration when planning their intervention. Next slide.
So in conclusion, from this set of multiple studies, we have consistently seen positive impacts in maths and also in literacy across various contexts. We conclude that there is potential to scale globally. However, as always, context and implementation matter. So thank you very much. We look forward to having the chance to discuss these studies further with you during the conference.